alone on a dead planet. The sun was hot. Too hot. The sky above was red with no clouds, no rain, no life. Below, on the cracked ground, a man walked alone. His name was Eli. His face was tired. His clothes were torn. His lips were dry. He had not drunk water in 2 days. Eli walked slowly. Every step felt heavy. His boots sank into the dust. Around him, there was nothing. No trees, no buildings, only broken rocks and the bones of creatures that died long ago. This was not Earth. Earth was gone. Eli did not like to think about it. The memories hurt. War, fire, screaming. Then silence. He had escaped in a small ship years ago with others. Now he was alone. The ship crashed on this planet and he never saw the others again. He touched a small device on his chest. It blinked weakly. It was a recorder. He pressed the button. Log. Day 47, he said, his voice dry like sand. No water, no food, this planet is dead. I don't know how long I have left. Maybe not long. He stopped walking. He looked at the horizon. Everything looked the same. Dead and endless. His eyes were heavy. He sat down on a rock and closed his eyes for a moment. Then he saw something. A light. It was far away. A small white light in the dust. He blinked. Was it real? Or was he dreaming? Eli stood up. He moved toward it. Slowly. Carefully. His legs shook. Maybe it was hope. Maybe it was death. He didn't care. He needed to know. As he walked closer, he saw the shape of a person, but not a normal person. The figure was thin, tall, glowing a little. It wore something like silver cloth, and its eyes, they were large and bright blue. He fell to his knees. He could not walk anymore. The figure came closer. It was a girl, not human. Her skin was light purple. Her hair floated like it had no weight. She knelt beside him and touched his face gently. Her hand was cool, soft. Eli could not speak. He just looked at her. She reached into a small bag and pulled out a crystal bottle. It was filled with blue liquid. She held it to his lips. "Drink," she said softly. Her voice was strange but kind. Eli drank. It was cold and sweet. His eyes widened. He felt life return to his body. Not full strength, but enough. He looked at her. "Who are you?" She didn't answer. Instead, she smiled and helped him stand. She pointed to a place far away. Some hills, maybe a cave. Then she started walking. Eli followed her, weak but curious. As they walked, he noticed the land changed a little. The air was cooler. There were strange plants growing near the rocks, small, glowing leaves. Life. After 1 hour, they reached a hidden cave. Inside, it was dark, but safe. There was a small pool of water in the center, glowing faintly blue. Eli sat beside it, breathing hard. The girl handed him some fruit, round and soft. He ate it slowly. "Thank you," he said. She just nodded. He looked around. The cave walls were covered in drawings, not random, by stories. He saw pictures of ships, stars, and people. Some looked human. He stood and walked closer. One part of the wall showed a big ship landing. People came out. They were human. The next picture showed fire, death, monsters. Then only one figure left, a girl, alone. Eli turned to look at her. "Is that you?" She didn't speak, but her eyes said yes. He sat down again. Many questions filled his mind, but he had no words. Outside, the wind blew softly. Inside the cave, there was only silence, and the strange bond between a dying man and the last gift of a lost people. As Eli lay down to rest, the alien girl watched him. Her eyes were sad but peaceful. Far above, the stars blinked in the dark sky. Somewhere out there, someone might still be listening. But for now, only this dead world heard Eli's breathing and the quiet hope of something new. The alien girl, the cave was quiet, but Eli could not sleep. Even though his body was tired, his mind was full of questions. The girl, the strange alien girl, sat near the glowing pool of water, her back to him, watching the shadows move across the stone. She had saved his life. But why? Who was she? And why did she look part human? Eli sat up slowly. His stomach still ached from hunger, but the fruit she gave him had helped. He looked at her, studying her face. Her eyes were not like his. They were wide, bright, and full of light, almost like they could see the truth hidden inside people. "You understand me?" he said quietly. She turned to face him, then nodded once. "You speak my language?" he asked. She shook her head slowly. "Then how do you know what I say?" No answer. Just that same soft look. Eli stood and walked to the wall with the drawings. He touched one, the picture of the humans landing. This was a human colony. "Wasn't it?" he asked. "Earth sent ships here a long time ago." The girl walked up beside him. She touched another part of the wall, a circle of stars and a large crack running through them. "Something happened," Eli whispered. "Something bad." She stepped back and picked up a strange object from a stone shelf. A round crystal, orb, smooth and glowing inside. She held it out to him. "What is this?" She placed the orb in his hands. The moment his fingers touched it, he felt a shock. Not painful, but deep. His mind filled with images, flashes, memories. He saw a green planet, people building cities, human children playing beside strange alien children. Peace. Then the sky turned dark. Something arrived. A black swarm, a sound like thunder. War began. Buildings exploded. Bodies fell. People screamed. Then, silence, and the face of a small girl, hiding. The vision ended. Eli dropped the orb, gasping for air. "Was that real?" he asked. The girl nodded once. Eli stared at her, slowly understanding. "You were a child when it happened. You saw it all." Her eyes filled with tears. Silver, not water. They glowed as they fell down her cheeks. "Your people, they're all gone," he said softly. She nodded again. "But you're still here? Why?" She touched the center of her chest. Under her skin, something glowed. Faint blue light. "A gift?" he asked. "A part of them?" She looked at him, carefully, then walked to the back of the cave. She touched the wall and suddenly a hidden door opened. Behind it, a tunnel. Eli followed her. The air was cooler here, deeper. They walked for a while until they reached a small room, filled with strange objects, tools, machines, wires. In the middle of the room sat a tall metal structure. It looked like a tower cut in half. It was broken. Eli stepped closer. "Is this a beacon?" The girl nodded. "You were trying to call someone?" She touched a small panel. It flickered. Weak. Broken. "Can we fix it?" Eli asked. She gave him a sad look. Her shoulders dropped. "We have to," Eli said. "Someone out there might hear. Someone might come." He looked around the room. Wires hung from the ceiling. Some were burned. Others looked ancient. Suddenly, a sound echoed from the tunnel behind them. A sharp click, then a low growl. Eli froze. The girl pulled him down, motioning for silence. Shadows moved outside the tunnel. Something was there. "What is that?" Eli whispered. She raised her hand and showed 3 fingers, then made a cutting motion. "Danger!" The creatures had followed them. "But how?" "Light," he whispered. "They follow light and sound." They had to hide. Slowly, carefully, the girl led him through a side path in the wall. It was narrow, dark. They crawled through it, hearing the beasts sniffing and moving behind them. Finally, they came out in another part of the cave. Safe, for now. Eli sat against the wall, breathing hard. The girl handed him another small fruit. We can't stay here forever, Eli said. They'll come back. She looked at him, her face serious. Then she pointed at the beacon. Eli understood. They had one chance. Fix the beacon, send a signal. Hope someone answers. As he lay down, he looked at the glowing orb in her hand. The one with the memories. This alien girl, the last of her kind, carried more than just knowledge. She carried the last spark of a dead world, and maybe the key to saving his own. Secrets of the cave was not just a place to hide. It was something more. A memory. A tomb. A machine. Eli woke to the sound of the wind howling outside the stone walls. Dust blew across the entrance, but inside the cave, it was quiet. Too quiet. The alien girl stood near the back of the room where the beacon had been hidden. She was looking at something. A carved panel in the wall. Her hand moved slowly over the symbols. Eli sat up. His body still ached, but his mind was awake now. The crystal fruit and the glowing water had given him just enough strength. What are you doing? He asked softly. She didn't speak. Instead, she pressed one of the carvings, a soft click. Then the stone wall opened again, this time revealing stairs going down into the darkness. Eli stood and walked over to her. She gave him a glance, no words, just a nod. Another level? He said. They went down together. The air grew colder. The light from her body lit the path. The walls were smooth now, no longer natural rock. They were made, built long ago by hands both human and alien. At the bottom, they reached a large round chamber. The ceiling was high. Machines lined the walls. Strange glowing tubes ran through the floor like veins. In the center stood a large pod. It looked like a coffin, but not for the dead. Eli moved closer. The pod was covered in dust. He wiped it away with his sleeve. Inside the glass was a human. A man. Frozen. Asleep. Alive. Who is he? Eli whispered. The alien girl stood beside him. She touched the pod and closed her eyes. Eli watched her face. Pain. Memory. Sadness. Your father? He asked. She nodded. Then, to his shock, she spoke a single word in perfect English. Captain. Eli stepped back. You can speak? She nodded again, slowly. A little, I remember. Eli looked again at the frozen man. He was a captain from Earth, he said. This colony. He led it, didn't he? The girl looked down. Yes, human. Good. Kind. And he's still alive? She shook her head. Half. Sleeping. Too long. Body weak. Cannot wake. Eli walked around the pod. He saw wires connected to the man's chest, strange lights blinking. The technology looked part organic, part machine. What are all these machines? He asked. The girl turned and walked to one of the walls. She opened a panel. Inside was a map, a star chart. Many planets were marked. One had a red circle around it. Eli leaned closer. Earth? He asked. The girl pointed to a different one. Not Earth. Origin. The first. What do you mean? She touched her chest again, the place that glowed beneath her skin. Seed, she said. This world was the beginning. Suddenly, it made sense to Eli. This planet wasn't just a colony. It was the place where something powerful began. A project, an experiment, maybe even life itself. And the girl, she was its final result. You're not just a survivor, he whispered. You're the last creation of two worlds, human and alien. The girl didn't answer. She didn't need to, but the moment was broken. A loud alarm blared through the cave, a deep hum, followed by flashing red light. What is that? Eli shouted. The girl looked around, eyes wide. She ran to a console and pressed buttons. Symbols appeared, and then an image. Outside the cave. Movement. A group of creatures. Tall, sharp, fast. Not animals, not machines. Something in between. They found us again, Eli said. The girl pulled a lever. Doors started to close across the tunnel entrances. They want this place, she said slowly. Why? Eli asked. She walked to the pod and touched her father's hand through the glass. Because he knew how to stop them. Eli's blood ran cold. You mean he had a weapon? The girl nodded. But he did not use it. He hid it. Too dangerous. Eli looked at the machines around them. Some were broken. Others still hummed. What kind of weapon could it be? If even the captain was afraid to use it. Outside, the creatures were coming closer. Pounding sounds shook the ground. Dust fell from the ceiling. Eli turned to her. Can we still send the signal? She hesitated, then pointed to a panel above the pod. Yes, but it needs power. Not from machines. From me. Eli's heart stopped. You mean, your life? She looked away. No, your light. That's not how this ends. The pounding grew louder. They had to decide. Send the signal, and maybe call help or fight. And risk everything. Eli walked to the console. I'll find another way, he said. I won't let you die. She gave him a small, sad smile. Not because she didn't believe him, but because she knew what he didn't. Yet some stories don't end in survival. They end in sacrifice. And this cave held more secrets than Eli was ready to face. Signal in the dust, the ground trembled. Dust fell from the ceiling like ash. Something was coming. Something big. Eli's fingers hovered above the console. Symbols flashed. Warning lights pulsed red. The alien girl stood beside him, calm but tense. The frozen captain slept in the pod, unaware of the danger outside. How many? Eli asked, trying to stay calm. The girl's voice was soft. Many. More than before. They are not animals. They remember this place. They hate it. Eli looked up at the screen. Outside the cave, the dust storms had cleared. Dozens of dark figures were moving in the open. Tall and thin with glowing eyes and sharp limbs. Some crawled. Others leapt like wolves. Their movements were too perfect. Are they machines? He asked. The girl shook her head. Not fully. They are what? Remains of the war. What do they want? She turned toward him. To erase what's left. Eli's hands clenched. They were coming to destroy the last piece of two dying civilizations. And that meant her. We have to send the signal now, he said. She hesitated. Beacon is broken. Still needs power. He looked at her. We'll fix it. Together. But deep down, Eli knew the beacon needed more than wires. It needed energy. Life. She had offered it. But he wasn't ready to take that from her. Not yet. They moved quickly. Down the tunnels, through the old chamber where the beacon tower stood broken. Eli grabbed what he could. Pieces of wire, coils, glowing cables. What is this? He asked, holding a cube that pulsed softly. Memory core, she said. Holds data from the beginning. Can we use it? She nodded. Not for power, but for truth. They connected the core. The console lit up. A new voice spoke. Not human, not alien. Something between. Colonial Log 001. Captain Adrian Elias. Status? Critical. Failsafe initiated. If this signal is playing, all backup systems have failed. We are not alone. And they are not sleeping. Eli turned toward the pod. Adrian, Elias, he said slowly. That's your name? The girl nodded. He is my father. I carry both names, both bloods. Before Eli could speak, an explosion shook the walls. A section of the tunnel collapsed. They were inside now. The creatures. The girl reached for her chest. The glow beneath her skin grew brighter. "Don't," Eli said. "We still have time." "Not much," she whispered. He opened a side panel on the beacon and inserted the crystal orb, the one filled with her people's memories. The machine buzzed. Screens lit up with ancient symbols. The beacon was waking up. "Just a little more," Eli said. "Stay with me." The girl smiled. "You have changed." "What?" "You came here to die, now you fight to live." Before Eli could respond, one of the beasts leapt into the room. It roared. Long arms stretched toward the girl, eyes burning like fire. Eli grabbed a metal rod and swung hard. It hit the creature's side, not enough to kill it, but it gave her time. The girl raised her hand. A burst of light exploded from her palm. The creature screamed and dropped. "How did you do that?" Eli asked, stunned. "I am not just life," she said. "I am defense, designed to protect. Last hope." More creatures followed. 3, 5, 7. Eli stepped in front of her. "Run!" he shouted. "No, we finish this. Now." She walked to the beacon and placed both hands on it. Her glow spread into the machine. The lights brightened. The tower rose, shaking the chamber. "Stop!" Eli screamed. "You'll burn out." "This is my purpose," she said. "Your story must continue." The beacon cracked the ceiling. As it extended upward, light shot into the air. Outside the cave, it pierced the sky like a sword made of fire. For a moment, the creatures paused. They screamed and howled. Some turned and fled. Others charged in. Eli stood in front of her as she knelt, still glowing, now weaker. A beast struck him across the chest. He fell. Blood filled his mouth. But the beacon was fully active. A signal flew through the stars, past dead satellites, empty moons, and quiet worlds. Somewhere far away, someone received it. The girl fell to her knees. Her skin faded from bright to soft. Eli crawled toward her. "Don't go," he whispered. She looked into his eyes. "Remember me," she said. "Remember what we were." Her body turned into light, warm, blue, and soft, and drifted into the air, flowing into the beacon's core. And then, silence. The creatures stopped moving. The light of the beacon filled the room. They turned and vanished, and like shadows burned by the sun. Eli lay there, broken, alone, but not empty. She had given him more than life. She had given him a message. You are not finished. You are not forgotten. The last gift. The light from the beacon still glowed in the sky like a silent flame against the dark red clouds. The storm had stopped. The wind had gone quiet, and all the creatures were gone. But so was she. Eli lay on the floor of the cave, staring at the spot where the alien girl had disappeared. Only soft blue dust remained, glowing like starlight. It floated in the air, gentle, peaceful, weightless. She had become something more than flesh. Her light was now part of the beacon, but her loss hit him like a weight on his chest. He sat up slowly. Every part of his body ached. Bruises covered his arms. Blood still dripped from a cut across his ribs. But pain meant nothing compared to what he had seen. And lost, he crawled to the beacon. It was warm, almost alive. The crystal orb at the center now shone brighter than before. "Why?" he whispered. "Why didn't you wait? We could have found another way." The machine hummed. Screens shifted. And then, to his surprise, her voice. "Eli." He froze. His breath caught in his throat. "If you're hearing this, it means I'm gone, but part of me remains. This is not a goodbye. It's a gift." Her voice was clear, gentle, full of sadness and strength. "I was born from two dying worlds. I carried the memories of both. But I could never leave. I was tied to this place. You are not." Tears filled Eli's eyes. He reached toward the orb, resting his hand gently on its surface. "You will feel alone. But you're not. You carry what I was, and one day, what we were, may grow again. Then the screen flickered. A map appeared, not just of the planet but of nearby systems. One point flashed green, a ship. Orbiting, waiting. He stood up fast. There's a ship up there? Why didn't she tell me? The beacon responded. Automated Ark-class vessel. Dormant, signal locked. Access code required, Eli thought hard. A code? He looked back at the pod. The frozen man, Captain Adrian Elias. Her father. Eli returned to the chamber. The pod systems still blinked slowly, barely alive. On the glass, a small symbol was now glowing. A handprint. Eli placed his hand on it. The system scanned his touch. Error. DNA mismatch. Initiating memory check. A voice began playing. Old, deep, tired. This is Captain Adrian Elias. If this message is playing, then I never woke up. My daughter. She was the last hope. And if she found you, you are the future. There is a ship in orbit. The soul's echo. It carries the last seeds of Earth and this world. You must get to it. You must leave this place. You must begin again. The system unlocked. Coordinates flashed across the beacon's screen. He had a way off the planet, but the path would not be easy. Outside, the light had drawn attention. New ships, small, black, silent, had entered the atmosphere. But they were not rescue ships. They were hunters. Eli watched the sky as dark specks descended through the clouds. He wasn't alone anymore. But that didn't mean he was safe. He packed what he could. The memory, core. A piece of the girl's crystal dust now hardened like stone. A fragment of the beacon's glowing wire. All that was left of her. Before leaving the cave, he stood by the pod. One last time. You raised her well, he whispered. She saved me. Then he turned and began the journey to the surface, through tunnels once filled with death, now silent, through paths still warm with her fading light. As he reached the top of the ridge, he looked back once more at the cave, the place where everything had ended and everything had begun. The sky above burned orange and the ground cracked below him. But in his chest he felt something stronger than fear. A promise. Her gift wasn't just a way to survive. It was a reason to go on. Because sometimes, hope is not given. It is built. From ashes, from sacrifice, from love. And now, it was his turn to protect it. Echoes in the void. The sky had changed. It no longer looked dead. A blue line cut through the clouds, the tail of a ship entering orbit. Somewhere above, in the silence between stars, the last hope of two lost worlds waited for him. But between Eli and that ship were ghosts. He moved quickly now. The ground below his feet was cracked but no longer empty. Broken machines stirred in the sand. Towers blinked in the distance, ruined outposts, half buried in dust. They had been silent for decades. But the beacon signal had woken more than help. It had woken memories, and something else. As Eli reached the highest ridge, he looked up. The orbital path was visible now, a soft shimmer like a scar across the sky, and above it, a shape, long, silver, asleep in space. The Ark, Soul's echo. The ship was not just a machine. It was a seed bank, a memory vault, a floating grave, and, possibly, a way home. He activated the small communicator taken from the cave's console. Eli to Soul's echo. This is Survivor Unit 17. Access code, Adrian E42. Silence, then static. Then, a voice. Identity confirmed. Welcome, Eli. He stopped walking. The voice. It was hers, but she was gone. What is this? He whispered. The voice responded. Slower this time. Softer. Fragmented echo. Emotional core interface. Recording. Based on her. Eli felt his heart sink and rise. It wasn't truly her, but it was a part of her, saved within the memory systems of the Ark. "Are you aware?" he asked. The voice hesitated. "I remember. Pieces, not full, but enough to know you are not safe." Eli ducked behind a fallen pillar as something passed overhead. A shadow, silent and sharp. A scout drone. The hunters were here. Not beasts this time. Machines. Their ships were fast. Dark. Ancient tech that was once human, once alien. Now something worse. A blend of rage and logic. "They followed the signal," he said. "Yes," the voice answered. "They fear what remains. The Ark holds answers. They will try to destroy it." Eli looked up at the sky. He had to move faster. The voice continued. "I left a path, a gate. The canyon holds the key." Eli followed the directions, through broken terrain. Hours passed. Night fell. The stars above grew brighter. The Ark sparkled like a second moon. Then he found it. A cliff wall cracked in the center. Two pillars half covered in stone, glowing faintly. A door, but guarded. Two machines stood before it, humanoid in shape. Tall, with dark armor. Weapons built into their arms. They did not speak. They simply waited. Eli hid in the shadows. He thought of running, fighting, dying. Then he remembered her voice, her final words. "You carry what I was." He stood up, stepped out and faced them. "I'm going through," he said, voice steady. The machines raised their weapons. But then, something happened. Eli's chest began to glow, not from tech, from the crystal she had given him, the same energy that once filled her. It pulsed, slow and calm. The machines paused, scanned him, then lowered their weapons. The gate opened. He stepped inside. Darkness turned to light. The tunnel led upward. At the end, a launch platform. And above it, a small shuttle still functional. The voice spoke again. "You're almost there. The ship will take you up, but once you leave this planet, you cannot return." "I understand," Eli whispered. "One more thing," the voice added. "There's something waiting for you, in the Ark." "What?" "Not everything died. Here." Eli's blood ran cold. He climbed into the shuttle, powered the engine. The controls lit up. The launch sequence began. As the ship rose into the air, the planet below grew smaller. The cave, the beacon, the creatures, the dust. All of it faded. And then, stars. Above him, Sol's Echo rotated slowly, its lights dim but alive. Eli docked. He stepped into silence. Cold still, ancient. The Ark's halls were wide, curved, clean, untouched by time. But as he moved through them, lights flickered on. Not just from motion sensors. They knew he was coming. The voice guided him. Deck 3, Cryo Vault. He walked, slowly, carefully. When he reached the vault, he froze. There were more pods. Not one, not 10, hundreds, some empty, some broken, but one was active. Inside it, a figure, small, thin, her, alive, or something like her. Eli dropped to his knees. "How?" he whispered. The voice returned. "The one you met was a projection, a construct. She carried my memories. But this is the source." The pod opened. Her eyes blinked. Blue, glowing, familiar. She stepped forward. Not the same, not different, a mix of old and new. "Eli?" she asked softly. He couldn't speak. She smiled. "You came, human." Forever, the cryo chamber was silent. Eli stood frozen. His breath caught in his throat. She was standing in front of him. Alive. Her skin was warm now, no longer glowing blue light. Her eyes blinked slowly. Her steps were unsure, like someone waking from a very long dream. He stepped forward. She looked up. "You remember me?" he whispered. She nodded. but then paused. Not all, but yes, part of me remembers. You were kind. You followed. You stayed. He wanted to speak more, ask how this was possible. But the truth was clear in her eyes. This version of her was real. More real than the one he met before, and yet, somehow they were the same. You saved me, Eli said quietly. You saved me first, she answered. The Ark's systems activated behind them. Lights lit up one by one. Panels opened. Machines hummed to life. As if they had waited. For her return, a soft chime echoed through the ship. Warning. Hostile entities detected. Planetary orbit breach. Time to impact, 15 minutes. Eli turned to the nearest screen. Dark ships had followed him from the surface. Small, fast, deadly. They found us again, he said. She looked at the screen, her face calm. They always follow the light. What do we do now? Eli asked. We finish what they tried to stop. The Ark wasn't just a ship. It was a beginning. Its memory banks held the DNA of lost species, both human and alien. Its gardens were dry, but the seeds were stored. Its systems could rebuild everything. Life, history, future. But the invaders, the shadows of the war, had returned to erase it all one final time. Eli clenched his fists. He was tired of running, tired of watching everything die. We fight? He asked. We become more than that, she said. This Ark, it's not just a memory. It's a promise. She walked to the central console and placed her hand on a glowing panel. It scanned her. A deep hum filled the ship. Genetic command confirmed. Hybrid core awakened. The ship responded, as if it knew its creator had returned. She turned to Eli. There's one last system. Hidden. My father feared it. I understand why now. A panel slid open behind her. A chamber. Not a weapon. A transformation pod. What is it? Eli asked. A bridge. Something that can carry the best of both worlds. Not just human. Not just alien. Something new. He stared at it. You want me to enter that? No, she said. I want us to. Eli stepped back. If we do this, we don't come back the same. We don't need to, she said. We came from the past, but we were born to build the future. Outside, the enemy fleet approached. No more time. No more waiting. Eli looked at her. Not the girl who saved him. Not the girl in the pod, but the soul who had walked beside him across death itself. Okay, he said. Let's begin again. They stepped into the chamber together. The door closed. Light flooded the room. Bright, white, pure, systems red. Their minds combined their DNA. Memories, pain, dreams all merging. Human will, alien wisdom, hope. They became one voice, one vision. The Ark awoke fully. Weapons activated, but not to destroy, to defend life. Energy fields wrapped around the ship. The invaders fired, but the blasts faded into light. The Ark vanished from orbit, not destroyed, reborn. Sometime later, across a green world far from the dust, children played in tall grass. Trees grew from red soil. 2 moons circled above. Inside, a quiet room. A voice spoke to a group of young ones. A story about a planet that died. A man who walked alone. A girl who glowed like stars. And a gift that changed everything. Was it real? A child asked. The voice smiled. Real enough to become the world you live in now. Outside the window stood 2 figures, watching, one with human eyes, the other with light beneath her skin. Neither fully human, neither fully alien, but together. Human. Forever.